Hello and Namaste. My experience of meditation at Wat Bhaddanta. I am going to share my experience of meditation at Wat Bhaddanta. I arrived at Wat Bhaddanta Asabharam on 22nd November 2005. I stayed there until 10th December 2025, which means I spent 19 days at the monastery. The course requires a stay of 15 days, but I wanted to stay a few days longer. Mindfulness is not about simply fulfilling a requirement, it comes from the heart. The biggest insight from this retreat was simple yet profound. It started and then ended. Before I arrived, many thoughts were running through my mind. How will the stay be? What will be the place like? Will it be difficult? Will meditation benefit me? Will I be able to complete the 15 days? Even on the first day, these questions lingered. And and then suddenly that last day arrived. I was leaving the monastery. In that moment, I realized everything that begins good or bad eventually ends. All my worries suddenly seemed irrelevant, even a little ridiculous. This insight applies not only to meditation retreats but to all events in life. Even life itself could be seen as the same unfolding process. Of course, during the retreat, there were moments of boredom and laziness. There were also moments of deep peace and joy in meditation. Some moments seemed to pass slowly, others flew by. But all the pleasant and painful experiences come and go. There were two main practices: walking meditation, that is Sankraman, sitting meditation, focusing on the rising and falling of the belly. With both techniques, I noticed that as I paid more attention, the movement slowed down. In walking meditation, my steps became slower and more deliberate. In sitting meditation, my breath became slower and deeper. The mind calmed and a sense of peace arose in both the body and mind. I could also feel a sense of rapture, called piti in Pali, which is one of the seven factors of awakening. At the same time, the mind often wandered. I felt restless and bored at times. During early morning or late evening sessions, I sometimes feel sleepy. Occasionally, I felt calm and peaceful, only to realize later that I was half asleep. This is the reality of meditation. For me, the most important insight was the realization of anitya or impermanence. When I focused on the in breath and out breath, I could see that each breath arises and passes away. Then I focus on walking. I could see that each step starts and ends, and then the next step begins. I also experienced a sense of anatta or non self. I felt as if I was taking a breath and releasing it, but in truth, the breathing happens on its own as a natural process of life. Similarly, in walking meditation, it seemed that I am walking, but really the body itself is part of existence, moving as a process beyond choice. I did not choose my body, it happened. And one day it will end, again, not by my choice. This retreat reminded me that life itself is a series of processes, arising and passing away, beyond control, yet full of wisdom and insight. I have been to several meditation camps since I was 17 years old. The first one was under the guidance of Satyanarayan Goenka. Last year, I observed a 1 month self retreat at Anandagiri, a forest monastery at Khao Phetchabun. There, I had a deep realization of non self starting around the 15th day of meditation. I began to feel that everything is a happening process and I am simply part of it without a separate independent self. This insight continued for several days after the retreat, but gradually it faded away over time. Thank you.